of you. So if you all feel okay, we can wait for a couple of minutes for our more colleagues to join. Or भाई साहब नमस्कार.
हाँ जी नमस्कार जी.
आपका हार्दिक स्वागत. आप सबका बहुत स्वागत.
Thank you, thank you.
So Madhulika ji, it's 10:32. I think we should start and let the people join. Huh?
Sure. Let's start, Dhananjay.
Yeah.
So people will gradually keep on joining. So it's okay.
Yeah. So namaskar and welcome to all of you for this consultation, NHRD and UN Women consultation on championing women's economic empowerment among private businesses in Rajasthan, India, the way forward. This consultation will be led by none other than Shri N.K. Chaudhary ji, whom not only I but most of us who are close to him call him Bhai Sahab. So we welcome you, sir, among us, and thank you so much for joining us and agreeing to lead this for NHRD UN Women. We would also like to welcome Kanta ji, Suhela ji, Madhulika ji, Ishita ji from UN, my colleagues Nalin, Avinash and Harinda, and all our esteemed participants from different organizations, very esteemed organizations who have joined us here today for this consultation. A very warm welcome to all of you. I know these are tough times. Had it been post-COVID era, we would have gathered somewhere in Rajasthan on-site session. This would have been. However, challenges can pose challenges, but the might of human beings and our good intent, they cannot stop us by meeting. So maybe technology has come as a savior, and this brings us to here, where all of us are here together in this journey. This consultation is focusing on women's economic empowerment, and NHRD and at the global level UN Women believes that there is a lot of not only for good or for social optics. When we talk about the business itself, there is a lot of meaning for women to join businesses. And Rajasthan, in many areas and many ways, has shown the way that women joining the businesses has its own business imperative, and how people have done so well. One of the shining example, which is Jaipur Rugs itself, where Shri, under the leadership of Shri N.K. Chaudhary ji, not 10,000, 20, 30, 40,000. There are so many people who have joined what Professor C.K. Prahlad used to say, bottom of pyramid, and this is one of the examples quoted in his book, Bottom of Pyramid by C.K. Prahlad, who was such a tall figure in the field of strategy from University of Michigan, US. And the way he has led and how women colleagues, associates have led this change. That is one which we wanted to share a point of view. The idea is to listen to you, learn from your experiences, how women's economic empowerment can be sustained, can be increased in the organizations, which you all are doing in your unique ways in your organization. And also how this we can create this as a movement where your organizations can work with UN Women. Yesterday we had already circulated a small, very brief survey where we wanted to know that in the 7 principles of WEBs of UN Women, and I am delighted to say, grateful and gratitude to all of you, because 9 of you have already responded also, thinking where you are, what you feel is important for you. In this backdrop, we will have this discussion. In the consultation, we will request Kanta ji to share her point of view, followed by Suhela ji. Thank you for joining, Suhela ji, and we will request you to make a brief presentation on WEA, please, and how we are doing in Asia in this regard. And then we will open the consultation led by Shri N.K. Chaudhary ji, wherever required, Kanta ji and all of us will chip in. And we will request all of you to be very vocal about the issues, the challenges, what has been done, what can be done better, because we believe that whatever we have done in the past, future can be better than what we are today. With these a brief backdrop and thought, with folded hands, I would like to welcome each one of you. Thank you. Welcome once again. And we look forward to your very, very active participation, not only today's consultation, but as we said, that we would like to convert this into a movement. And today onwards, this humble beginning will certainly shape up into something which will be much, much more than what we could have individually done. We look forward to do it collectively. Thank you very much. Welcome, and over to Kanta ji, please.
Thank you, Dhananjay ji, and good morning to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Kanta, loud and clear.
Wonderful. So thank you everyone for joining the webinar today. As Dhananjay ji has mentioned that we have been working together.
Kanta ji, may I request you to kindly unmute the...
I thought I did. Maybe somebody else has muted me. From my side, I have unmuted myself and also put the video.
Dhananjay ji, we can hear Kanta.
Kanta ji, we can hear you. Yeah.
We can see you also. Please
The
go ahead.
video is on as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Yeah, now I can see myself. Thank you very much. So thank you everyone, and thank you UN Women team for putting it together. Particularly, I'd like to mention Madhulika Ishita Abhinandan. Also, thanks to Suhela for joining us today. Suhela is, as you all know, is leading another program called We Empower Asia in India, and she's leading the dialogue with the private sector. So we requested her to be present here today. But most importantly, thanks to all of you. On behalf of UN Women and the team that I'm working with, we really appreciate the time that you have taken out today. But let me just share what we are doing and what we are trying to do today. I'll just take 5 minutes and please bear with me. So UN Women is implementing a program called Second Chance Education. We call it SCE. It also has vocational learning, which I generally don't remember whenever I speak about it. ये program 4 states में हम लोग implement कर रहे हैं. Rajasthan being one of those 4 states. Odisha, Bihar, Maharashtra are the 3 other states. So जब second chance education program की बात हम करते हैं, तो यहाँ let me also share the objectives that we are implementing this program with. पहला ऑब्जेक्टिव हमारा यही है कि महिलाएं खासकर जो किसी वजह से पढ़ाई में पीछे रह गई हैं, उसमें राजस्थान एक ऐसा स्टेट है जहाँ पे बहुत सारी महिलाएं पढ़ाई से या तो वंचित रह गई हैं या तो उन्होंने छोड़ दिया बीच में 5वीं क्लास पढ़ के या 8वीं क्लास पढ़ के. तो हम लोग अपने प्रोग्राम के जरिए हम उन महिलाओं को वापस एजुकेशन से जोड़ना चाहते हैं. और एजुकेशन क्योंकि अब बहुत सारी चीजों के लिए कुछ मैंडेटरी भी हो गया है कि आप पंचायत इलेक्शन से लेके और गवर्नमेंट जॉब से लेके बहुत सारी चीजों के लिए एजुकेशन का तो खैर कोई वो ही नहीं है कि क्यों जरूरी है, वो तो आप सब जानते हैं. तो हम उनको वापस शिक्षा से जोड़ के और उनको मेन स्ट्रीम में लाना चाहते हैं. दैट इज द फर्स्ट पिलर और ऑब्जेक्टिव कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा महिलाएं हमारी एजुकेटेड हों. लिटरेट होना एक आइडिया नहीं है, बल्कि एजुकेटेड हों वो और अपनी जिंदगी के पूरे जितने भी उनके पोटेंशियल है उसको रियलाइज कर पाएं. दूसरा ये है कि महिलाओं को शायद जानकारी के अभाव में या तो अवसर के अभाव में वो जितनी भी सरकारी या गैर सरकारी जितनी भी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, अवसर हैं, वो उनका फायदा नहीं उठा पाती हैं, particularly related to skilling and economic opportunities. So we want to make them aware and also link them with the existing skilling opportunities that exist in the country. Third is employment, and for which we need your support. Both skilling and employment, we need your support, and that's why we thought it will be great to have a conversation with you. यहाँ पे आप लोग सब जानते हैं देश में महिलाओं की जो लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन है वो लगातार गिरता जा रहा है। मुझे याद है हम 36-37% पे होके ये कहा करते थे कि देश में बहुत कम महिलाएं काम करती हैं। आज के दिन वो पिछले 10 साल में वो गिरते गिरते 25-26% रह गया। पोस्ट कोविड वो और भी खराब हालत हो गई है। तो हम ये चाहते हैं, और वो फिगर्स तो वैसे अभी तक डेटा कंपाइल नहीं हुआ है, बट वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट इट इज अबाउट 19 to 20% women are left in the workforce, and the number is decreasing every day, which is kind of shameful for the country because we have not been able to provide opportunities to women to work. Also, we don't realize the potential that women have, and the business case that we can make for women, where it is important for women to work, not only for themselves but also for the economy. सुहेला भी उसके बारे में कुछ बात करेंगी। तीसरा और चौथा जो एक और हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव है वो यही है कि हम महिलाएं, इवन इफ यू वांट, वी नो दैट नॉट एवरी वुमन वुड बी एबल टू गो बैक टू वर्क और गो टू वर्क। तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि कुछ महिलाएं घर से ही या तो ग्रुप में या तो अकेले अपना काम शुरू करें। तो उसको सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट कह सकते हैं, आप उसको एंटरप्राइज कह सकते हैं, आप उनको अपना रोजगार कह सकते हैं। तो ये हमारा चौथा उद्देश्य है कि हम ये करें, और उसके जरिए बहुत सारे हैं, ऑनलाइन वर्क भी है और ऑफलाइन भी हमारा काम महिलाओं के साथ जुड़ा रहता है। हम 12 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में हैं इन चारों स्टेट्स में, और करीब करीब 200 गांव में काम करते हैं। जो सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट और सबसे जो डिफरेंशियल एक जिससे इम्पैक्ट होगा वो हमारा एम्प्लॉयमेंट और स्किलिंग से रिलेटेड है। ये हम जानते हैं कि सभी आज देश में ही ना केवल महिलाओं का केस नहीं है, ये देश में ही जो बच्चे पढ़ाई भी करते हैं, चाहे उन्होंने ग्रेजुएशन कर लिया हो या पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन कर लिया हो, वो आप जैसी नौकरी के काबिल नहीं होते हैं जैसे जो आपके यहाँ काम कर पाए, क्योंकि एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी स्किल्स जो हैं वो लैकिंग है देश में, और वो सारे देश का ही हाल है। हमारा आपसे 2 गुजारिश है। एक तो ये कि क्या ये संभव है कि आपके यहाँ जिस तरह की स्किल्स की आवश्यकता है वो आप कुछ महिलाओं को प्रोवाइड कर पाए। सो बेसिकली डिमांड लेड ट्रेनिंग। हम लोग अपने तरीके से CII, FICCI और जितने भी PMKKs हैं, PMKVYs हैं, उनके साथ मिलकर ट्रेनिंग करते हैं, लेकिन बहुत बार ये देखा है कि वो ट्रेनिंग कोई खास यूजफुल होती नहीं है, बिकॉज जहाँ जिस जॉब में महिलाएं जाती हैं वो शायद उस तरह की स्किल्स उनके पास नहीं होती हैं। तो बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल्स कुछ देश से ऐसे निकले हैं जो कि जिन भी एम्प्लॉयर्स ने, आप जैसी कंपनियों ने जिन्होंने भी महिलाओं को खुद ट्रेनिंग देकर खुद एम्प्लॉयमेंट दिया है, वो सबसे अच्छे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, क्योंकि ट्रेनिंग के दौरान महिलाएं बहुत कुछ सीख जाती हैं कि ऑन द जॉब ट्रेनिंग जिसको बोलते हैं, कि इस कंपनी को क्या जरूरत है, तब तक वो एडजस्ट भी हो जाती हैं, और फिर ड्रॉप आउट रेट बहुत कम रहता है। तो ये हमारी आपसे आज के दिन गुजारिश है कि क्या इस तरह से हम एंगेज हो सकते हैं। आज का जो एक हमारा ये कंसल्टेशन है, ये तो बस एक जरिया है। आइडिया ये था कि आप तक बहुत लोगों तक जा पाए, आपके जरिए और कंपनियों तक पहुंच पाए, और एग्जाम्पल सेट करें कि राजस्थान में महिलाओं, जबकि बहुत पर्दे में रहने वाला सिस्टम है अपने यहाँ, मैं राजस्थान से आती हूँ इसलिए मैं कोई बाहर से बात नहीं कर रही हूँ, जिस तरह का सिस्टम है जहाँ महिलाओं के लिए एक स्थान तय है, वही राजस्थान की महिलाएं बहुत सारे अच्छे काम कर रही हैं। बिजनेस में खासकर महिलाएं बहुत सारा काम करती हैं आगे बढ़ के। तो क्या हम अपने स्टेट को और आगे बढ़ाने में, महिलाओं की भागीदारी सुनिश्चित करने में और ऑल्सो इकोनॉमी में, so women not only as users or beneficiaries of the government programs but they become contributors. हम हमेशा बात करते हैं कितनी महिलाएं काम करती हैं, कितनी महिलाएं पॉलिटिक्स में हैं, कितनी महिलाएं इसमें हैं, हम लोग ये कभी भी चेक नहीं करते कितनी महिलाएं टैक्स देती हैं। उससे ज्यादातर हमको अंदाजा हो जाएगा कि महिलाएं किस स्तर पे हैं और कितना कमाती हैं और कितनी महिलाएं कमाती हैं। 80%, in fact more than 80% women are working in the unorganized sector where they earn minimum income, और बहुत जगह आप सब समझते हैं कि जो खासकर पीस रेट पे काम करती हैं या फॉर्मल मार्केट से जुड़ी भी हुई हैं, उनके रेट्स जो हैं वो बहुत एनकरेजिंग नहीं है। तो समस्याएं बहुत सारी हैं महिलाओं के एम्प्लॉयमेंट से लेके, मैं ये भी जानती हूँ क्योंकि मैं बहुत सालों से प्राइवेट सेक्टर के साथ काम कर रही हूँ, ये जानती हूँ कि आपको भी महिलाओं को अपने वर्क फोर्स में या तो लाने के लिए, अगर नहीं है तो वहां लाने के लिए बहुत सारे काम करने पड़ते हैं। जैसे आपको अपने जो जो रेगुलेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट है उसके कंप्लायंसेस करने पड़ते हैं, नए तरह के टॉयलेट्स, नए तरह की महिलाओं को जो चाहिए उस तरह की चीजें जो भी वर्क प्लेस पे चाहिए वो इंतजाम करना पड़ता है। जिनके पास है भी उनको स्ट्रेंथन करना पड़ता है, अपने मैनेजर्स को, मिडिल मैनेजर्स को ट्रेन करना पड़ता है, सेंसिटाइज करना पड़ता है, बहुत तरह की चीजें हैं। लेकिन ये भी मैं जानती हूँ कि जिसमें विल है वो ये काम आसानी से कर सकता है। I've seen many companies commit to promoting women. When I'm saying promoting women, उनका मेरा मतलब ये नहीं है कि वहां पे उनको प्रमोशन मिल रहा है, बल्कि महिलाओं को आगे बढ़ाने में जो कंपनियों का हाथ होता है, बहुत कंपनियों ने आगे आके उनको शुरू किया है, चाहे उसमें थोड़ा खर्चा भी हुआ हो, चाहे उसमें थोड़ा सा एफर्ट्स भी लगे हों। कुछ मेरे जो ऑब्जर्वेशन है मैं 2 मिनट में और वो बताना चाहूंगी कि जहां हमें सबसे ज्यादा रेजिस्टेंस मिला वो ये था कि मिडिल मैनेजर्स थोड़ा सा इस बात से घबराते हैं कि अब मैटरनिटी लीव देनी पड़ेगी, अब यहाँ फीमेल गार्ड चाहिएगा, अब नए तरह के सिस्टम्स लाने पड़ेंगे, या जो वहाँ मेन काम करते हैं उनको कैसे समझाएंगे, नाइट शिफ्ट कैसे करेंगे क्योंकि महिलाएं नाइट शिफ्ट में काम नहीं करती हैं। अगर उसके फाइनेंशियल बेनिफिट्स अगर आप देखेंगे, जो हमारे अनुभव से मैंने देखा हुआ है, वो बहुत ज्यादा है इन छोटे छोटे इरिटेंट्स को अगर आप नजरअंदाज कर दें तो उसके बेनिफिट्स बहुत हैं। आपका वर्क प्लेस जो है वो बिल्कुल बदल जाता है, इट्स मोर डिसिप्लिन्ड, इट्स मोर क्रिएटिव, it's also more inclusive. जो अगर मैं इस भाषा में कहूँ कि हमारा हक है कि हम भी काम पे जाएं, हम भी पैसा कमाएं, हम भी we get counted, तो लेकिन उसको भी छोड़ के मैं सिर्फ ये चाहती हूँ कि अवसर की जरूरत है, खासकर ऐसी महिलाएं जो गांव में रहती हैं और वो काम करना चाहती हैं या उनके घर के हालात ऐसे हैं कि काम के बिना गुजारा नहीं होगा, तो आप जैसे लोग जो कि कंपनियों में हैं, जो कुछ डिसीजन मेकर्स हैं, ये रास्ते उनके लिए खोल सकते हैं और अपने एरिया में आप रोल मॉडल्स बन सकते हैं। आपको देख के हम ये जानते हैं कि आपने किया तो बाकी कंपनियां भी सामने आएंगी, हमारे लिए भी आसान होगा कि हम किस तरह से उनको बताएं कि राजस्थान की 10 कंपनियों ने ये कमिट किया है कि हम 50 औरतों को लेंगे, 50 औरतों को लेंगे, 50 लेंगे तो आप 500 हो जाती हैं 10 कंपनियों के। उसके अलावा जो विमेन एम्पावरमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स हैं सोहेला आपको डिटेल में बताएंगी, बट एक ही तरह से आप महिलाओं से एंगेज नहीं हो सकते हैं। यू कैन डू मल्टीपल थिंग्स एंड यू शुड डू मल्टीपल थिंग्स टू मेक योर वर्क प्लेस मोर इंक्लूसिव। सो आज के इस बातचीत से मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हम लोग किसी न किसी एक रास्ते जो पे चलना शुरू करेंगे, जो आगे लेके जाएगा हम सबको, आपकी कंपनियों को, हम जैसे लोग जो इस फील्ड में काम करते हैं, लेकिन सबसे इम्पोर्टेंटली महिलाओं को, क्योंकि उनके लिए नए रास्ते खुलेंगे। सो I'm very hopeful and very optimistic that probably it will lead to something very big in Rajasthan. And let's have the fruitful discussion today. We'll be very happy to provide you more information. We'll be happy to come and meet you when things get all right. We'll also be very happy to bring in some of the good examples that we have seen elsewhere to showcase that it works. And particularly if you bring in women at work and more women at work and retain them there, create an environment where they can stay and prosper, it will also make your company look good. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate your time and look forward to a fruitful discussion. Thank you, Dhananjay. Over to you.
Thank you, Kantaji, for such a big subject and such deep subject, but in such simple, short, simple words, you have put them together. आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. And now, on behalf of all of us, may I humbly request Suhaila ji to share her point of view. Over to Suhaila ji, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dhananjay ji and Kanta, for setting the context so very well. I'm very pleased to be a part of this consultation today. And let me, introduce myself to you also, that why, my work would contribute to the cause and objective of the Second Chance Education Program. I am leading a program called We Empower Asia at UN Women, and this program specifically works with the private sector and the corporate sector to make their policies and programs more gender responsive. And we do it by adopting a framework of women's empowerment principles. And in the consultation today, I think one of the ideas is to also see that how we can leverage these 7 principles to really support the companies who are willing to work on promoting gender equality and women's empowerment. One thing is absolutely clear, that because you are a part of this consultation, because you have agreed to be a part of this consultation, of course, you have that vision of making gender equality and women's empowerment a reality in your businesses. So UN Women is there for you, to support you in actually providing you with detailed guidelines and tools on how to really implement some of the practices, or how to really address some of the challenges. For example, Kanta talked about a lot of issues, right? A lot of minor issues of considering that, okay, how do we manage the night shifts, for example, or how do we address some of the stereotypes that are being created in the minds of the middle management of the companies to address some of the issues. So the webs provide a very practical guideline. So without a further ado, I would like to quickly go into my presentation, and I hope that you are able to see my presentation.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yes, we can see it, Suhaila ji. Yes.
Thank you so much. So before going into my presentation, I would like to really reflect a little bit on the context that we are talking about. And Kanta did speak, and did touch on some of the points, but I think nevertheless, it is important to just quickly look at what we are talking about, in what context we are operating when we are trying to influence or promote women's economic empowerment in the corporate world, right? So Kanta rightly pointed out that over time, we are facing a declining women's labor force participation. It stands at 20% now, but also the fact that women are represented in informal employment. Over 90% of them are in informal economy, with only 8% or 9% in the formal sector. Also, they take majority of unpaid care work. What does that mean? That means that women do not have time to invest in more productive activities. If you would look at the statistics, we know globally women spend 2.1 times. Women invest 2.1 hours, 2.6 times as much unpaid work than men, but in India it is 9.8 times. Sorry, I was confused with my statistics, but that is what the reality is. So in India, if a man is spending a time on care work, the women spend 9.8 times more on that particular work, discharging their care obligations. So it definitely limits their participation in economic activities and limits their prospect to participate in productive work. Again, women face a gender pay gap. It is almost 19%. They earn less than men, and also they are underrepresented in leadership positions. So if you would look where women are, they are not in decision-making positions, even in the corporate sector or in government as well. The violence at workplace, public and private spaces is pervasive. That also means, that this discounts or this inhibits or this limits women's participation in the workforce. Also, the fact that women are not represented in the tech sector, and also they are not very well, skilled in STEM fields. This means that they are unable to access decent work opportunities, and perhaps also one of the reasons that why they are overrepresented in informal sector. They also face gender bias, glass ceiling, and sticky floor. So gender bias, when I say gender bias, it is exactly the fact that, when, say, for example, women go to banks to access finance, they are judged. They are not shown the same level of confidence that the bankers would say, for example, demonstrate for men's ideas. Also, the fact that women are very much judged on their traits. So if, for example, the women, if the men demonstrate similar traits of risk taking or decision making or autonomy, they are considered as leaders. But if women demonstrate the same traits, they are considered as bossy or too aggressive. Similarly, the glass ceiling, we have known that the women get stuck at one point of time in their career ladder, and it is very difficult for them to move up to the ladder to reach the leadership position. Similarly, the issue of sticky floor, that there is horizontal and vertical segregation, it really becomes difficult for them to move up onto the ladder in their career progression. Now, so why gender equality is critical? So if you would look, if you would look at the current situation, we see that there are three more prominent cases or arguments for gender equality. One is, of course, is the human rights argument or human rights case, right? So if you would look at the population of the globe, right, it is so unjust when we think that 50% of the population of the globe is really have to face barriers in accessing economic opportunities. Right? Same reasons that I discussed in the previous slide. This is against the human rights of an individual. So that, of course, there is a human rights argument to that. Second is, of course, the sustainability case. So we have known that there are data and statistics which tells us that if women earn more, they invest back into their families, specifically on education, on nutrition, on health of their families. That means that when women invest back into their communities and in their families, they are creating a society which is not only healthy, but also the fact that it is contributing more to the economic growth, right? They are contributing to the human capital formation within their societies that results in addressing the concerns of your sustainable development goals. So of course, bringing women in as part of the mandate, as part of the approaches to address sustainable development goals is something which is really, really very important. And third is the business case, which Kanta really touched upon when she was talking about the context. But there is enough data that suggests that, if we would enable more women in businesses, they drive innovation. There's a McKinsey report that says that gender diverse companies outperform their peers by 21%. Also the fact that, if you promote gender equality in the companies, then you are developing or creating inclusive workplaces that also reduce turnover and increase productivity. So there are statistics to each of this claim that I'm talking about, and enough data around there to prove that there is a business case for promoting women's empowerment in the businesses. And finally, also it's about the market growth. So there was a recent survey by Accenture that was held with almost 30,000 consumers, and 62% of them said that it is very important for a company to take a stand on issues like sustainability, on issues like transparency, fair employment practices, etc. So, a lot of companies that are conscious about their brand reputation, they do need to do something about promoting, sustainability, about promoting approaches that demonstrate that they are an equal, opportunity employer. So how to create a gender responsive business? And that is what the focus of my presentation would be. like I mentioned, that UN Women developed something called Women's Empowerment Principles back in 2010 with UN Global Compact Network. Now, these principles are a set of 7 principles that inform companies that how they can work around their policies to make them gender responsive. So if you would look at principle 1, 2, 3, they essentially talks about the policies and practices that are applicable at the workplace. Principle 4 and 5 talks about the policies and practices that can promote women's empowerment in the marketplaces. And principle 6 is about the community interaction by the companies and how they can empower women when they are implementing their CSR activities or when they're engaging with the communities as part of their work. Now, essential is also the fact that if you would look at the way these principles are designed, they are essentially trying to address an area of the value chain across your workplace, across your marketplace, and your community. Now, the principle 1, I would go a little bit detail in each of the principles to give you a sense that, what is it that they are exactly talking about, and how do we, initiate steps to incorporate some of these into our policies and practices. So the first principle, which is about gender equal corporate leadership, is essentially affirming high level support and direct top level policies to ensure gender equality is promoted in their companies. And by high level, what we mean is directly at the CEO level. The idea is that this principle essentially talks about the CEO level commitment to promote gender equality at the company. And the idea is that if the agenda is driven by the highest leadership or by the CEO, then it definitely finds place in not only in the key metrics of the senior management performance, but it also trickles down to the lower level, at the mid-management level and at the lower level. So the idea is that a CEO of the company, really transforms his vision of promoting gender equality into practice. It also entails that the company sets the goals and targets within its organization around promoting gender equality, and also engages with internal and external stakeholders to figure out that what are the issues that could be addressed. Now, principle 2 is essentially about the gender equality in the workplace, and it is promoting equality of, say, for example, of pay and benefits, and ensuring that there is a no discrimination policy based on, say, for example, caste, class, religion, gender, ethnicity, etc. It also makes sure that our recruitment and retention policies and practices are gender responsive, and that steps are taken to promote and support women to be a part of the leadership and management roles in the companies. Now, this principle also addresses, the normal stereotypes that prevent women in taking part actively in the business. For example, and there has much been talk about Zomato bringing out the menstruation leave policy, right? It's exactly the same, that how we are designing the policies that not only addresses, the requirements of the or the essential requirements of the women to be able to productively participate in the workforce, but also addressing the stereotypes, by really making them by really trying to promote them as something which is really which really does not hinders productivity, right? Similarly, when we are talking about maternity and paternity leave policies, I mean, the fact that the statistics do say that bringing back women after the maternity leave or after the paternity provisions in the companies does see increased productivity, because they are able to address their work life priorities as well, and then are able to contribute to the company's productivity. Now, the third principle essentially talks about the employee health and safety. And of course, when we are talking about this principle, it is about promoting safe working conditions and also addressing, the concerns of, say, for example, the sexual harassment at workplace, because this is one of the very important aspect that prevents women's participation and women's promotion in the workplace, and also in their productive pursuits. So then principle 4 and principle 5 is really about looking at that how we can promote women as such that they become not only, that they are not only promoted at the company, within the company in their, in their roles, but also trying to see that how the company is investing in women, say, for example, in their entrepreneurship pursuits, or for example, in their in their networking and mentorship opportunities that not only enables them to grow in their careers, but also try to engage with larger ecosystem and bring value back to the businesses. Principle 5 is about enterprise and supply chain development, and this essentially talks about that how the marketplace policies of the companies are gender responsive. So when I say marketplace policies, it is essentially that how company ensures that women are part of their procurement policies, for example, or when the company is trying to access the vendors and suppliers for their services, how consciously they try to engage women in their vendors and in their distribution and supplier networks. It is also about how the company is not, is not promoting gender stereotypes by their marketing practices, right, or branding practices. Principle 6 is really looking at the community advocacy. Now, we know that a lot of companies invest through their CSR initiatives into, say, for example, education or health, but also the fact that what we are trying to say that, the companies should also invest in addressing the structural barriers that cause these issues at the very first level, right? So Kanta does talk about, the issues of dropout. That is what the Second Chance Education Program is trying to address. But then if you would look at the structural constraints that really, that really cause these things to happen, which is the mobility constraints, which is patriarchal structures that inhibits women to participate in simply the educational opportunities, etc., or the issues of violence. So how a company is trying to address the structural constraints through investing into the communities and also developing the programs that take into account women's consideration and needs while developing their CSR strategies. And this is finally the last principle, which talks about the measurement and reporting. Now, the thing is that UN Women does not, expects the companies to report back to UN Women on the activities that they have taken. It is just the fact that, when the company is preparing their business responsibility report or their business sustainability reports, how they are integrating reporting on some of the gender indicators or gender targets on the steps that they have taken across 7 principles. Before going forward, I just wanted to tell you, that the 7 principles that WEBS is a voluntary commitment by an organization. We do not expect, any mandatory requirement from the company. It is just a voluntary commitment. And that is why we think that when it comes from the highest level, then, or the CEO level, then it really pushes the agenda, because then it is coming directly from, from the vision of the CEO that promoting gender equality and women's empowerment is an important agenda for their businesses. So what does the WEBS journey entail? The WEBS journey entail, of course, the first step, which is learning about women's empowerment principles, what they are, and what kind of steps and activities they are, one can initiate under women's empowerment principles. The next step is signing women's empowerment principles. It's just a very simple CEO statement of support that a company can sign and upload on webs.org. And then the next step, which is very important, is the consideration for really implementing the women's empowerment principles. And here, what we expect the company is to take a gender gap analysis tool, which is an online tool that is available to any company. And this is an anonymous tool. What it does is that it gives you a status where your policies and practices stand vis-a-vis the 7 women's empowerment principles. And it lets you know that what are the areas that require further strengthening and what are the areas that are good enough or strengthened enough to be able to showcase for wider audience, etc. And finally, then once you have your analysis from the gap analysis tool, what UN Women does together with the SC program and together with my program is that we work closely with the companies to really help them develop the action plans on the areas that they would find needs further strengthening. And of course, the idea is not to push any company to just start implementing all the 7 principles. We very much rely on the company to identify its priority. It's, it could be only one principle at a time. It could be one principle for next 3 years. We definitely doesn't push anything. It's the idea is that it has to be, the agenda has to be driven by the company itself. Just to give you an example, these are some of the companies that have recently signed women's empowerment principles. But just to give you, the sense that globally there are 3,800 CEOs that have signed women's empowerment principles. In India, there are 170 companies that have signed WEPs, and of course, these are some of the CEOs that have committed to WEPs. But we have really well-known companies that have signed. For example, we have Tata's that have recently signed. We have Shriram group of companies that have committed to women's empowerment principles, and of course Bridgestone, Capgemini, LTI, etc. Now, one thing that we do is that once the company signs women's empowerment principles, we really would like to promote their thought leadership, right? The fact that, they have come in public and demonstrated that, okay, we care for gender equality. And I think that is something which is very important for us, not only to showcase to the world that, okay, this is how, the companies are really taking action, but also inspiring other CEOs to take action based on the initiatives that the company has taken. What we do is that we recognize these CEOs as champions. We also engages with dialogue on them. So for example, recently we had a dialogue with the Tata Power CEO, which was really watched by over 20,000 people online, right? And he was talking about the initiatives that he was taking to promote women's empowerment and gender equality in the company. So we really try to create that buzz, that communication around women's empowerment principles to drive the agenda. Now, what support can you expect from UN Women once your company signs women's empowerment principle? Like I said, that first step is to really undertake the gap analysis tool, and then we really work together with the company to really work on identifying your priority areas, setting up those action plans, providing capacity building training to your management teams to actually implement and address issues that you might be facing in implementing women's empowerment principles. And what does company get in turn when they sign women's empowerment principles? Of course, you are a part of the global community that we talked about, over 3,800 CEOs that have committed to women's empowerment principles. We showcase your work on the global UN Women platforms, not only at the New York level, but at the Asia Pacific regional level and at the country level. This year, we launched the Women's Empowerment Principle Awards, and there were 91 companies that applied, and we would be having on 1st December, the winning, the ceremony where we would be announcing the winners. Then, of course, you could get access to customized tools, for example, the gender assessment, action plannings, etc., and be regularly updated about the new developments. Also, we would extend our invitation to work together with us on addressing some of the challenges by being part of the Second Chance Education Program, or WEA program, that I'm leading here. Yeah, so I'll stop here. I think I'm well within time, but happy to take the questions that you may have. But yes, the idea is that that this is not something, and I would like to repeat that this is not something which is mandatory. It's just a voluntary commitment which we really encourage companies to take up, and we work together with them to really help them to implement these principles. I'll stop here.
Thank you, Suhaila ji, and for so beautifully in crisp way sharing the WEPs and how important it is for all of us. I'll encourage and I'll request all the institutions which have joined here, all the leaders who are here it's a voluntary initiative. Do give your might to this initiative because it's very, very important. And your signing will be a big sign of change for many of the institutions, many of the individuals who look up to you as a leader, who look up to your organizations as a leader, which brings about the change in the society. So your signing on this voluntary, which is a non-commercial sign up, will not only help the movement, but it will also be a lighthouse for many others who look up to you, who believe that if you have signed it, if you believe in it, then there must be something which will help them also. Even if that becomes one of the interventions that will also help people to move ahead in this journey. So thank you again, Sohila ji. And with this, we move to Bhai Sahab, N.K. Chaudhary Sahab. And Bhai Sahab, over to you to share your views. And all of us are available. आप जिस धागे से हम सबको पिरोना चाहते हैं, हम सब आपके लिए उपस्थित हैं और आपसे अनुरोध है कि आप अपनी बात हम सबके साथ साझा करें. Over to Bhai Sahab, please.
मैं सोच रहा हूँ जो मधुलिका जी ज्यादा अच्छी तरह मॉडरेट कर पाएगी सेशन को.
जी, thank you.
So humble of you. So humble of you.
Thank you, Chaudhary ji. So, Hanni, we heard what Dhananjay ji said, we heard what Suhela and Kanta said. So the idea of today's session was that, all of you who are working in private spaces, be it educational institution, be it manufacturing companies, retail spaces, whatever. So the idea was that how can we work with you? How can you and women within the context of a SCE program or a women's economic or the WEPS principle work with you to ensure, or at least some of you, that's what we hope, to ensure that, women have more choices and opportunities when it comes to making economic decision. Women who want to work, who are able to work, because like Kanta was saying, we often find women who are educated also, and it's true for men also, the education system in India does not naturally translate to employment, because it's not very the skill set that we impart in our education system, it's not practical enough to be employed in a workspace. So the idea is also to think or navigate that space within which we can act as that bridge which translates this gap into economic opportunities for women. So with that, and without eating into much of time, what we were thinking is, now that Suhela has spoken about the 7 principles and that Kanta has told us the 4 pillars within which we are anchoring the work of second chance education. So we thought we would hear from you about your experiences, about your experience incorporating some of these principles within your work. If you have ever tried to consciously integrate women and girls in your workspaces, or to bring more women and girls on table, or to make the workspaces more friendly for them. So Chaudhary ji has very kindly offered me the session, but I'm going to give him the table back. And I would request you all now to kindly, share your experiences. If you could raise hand, I would be more than happy to invite you to speak. So I see Sanjeev ji ka haath is already up. So Sanjeev ji, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Basically, to my understanding, I am Sanjeev Kumar and heading HR for Surya Rosary Limited. I am at Kasipur location. It is in Uttarakhand, and we are a group of companies, in multi-location company in India. To my understanding, women employment in workplace is far more beneficiary to the industry, in fact, comparing to the men employment. There are a lot of things which company, get benefit due to women employment. First thing, what I understand is that you are playing a very big social role in employing women in industry. Because to my understanding, and I have 30 years of experience, and what I understand the socio-economic condition of the country, women comes to workplace only when they really need the money. And if you empower women by giving them employment. The women which they earn, they actually invest in house. So it is not only the employment, it is rather you are changing the socio-economic condition of the country. Other way. Second thing, what I understand is that if you have more women in your employment and in your company, you have less IR issues, you have more productivity, your workforce is more disciplined. By general, if you have 1,000 women standing in a workplace, you want to give some instructions, they are more disciplined. If you have 1,000 men standing to receive the instructions, then generally even on a street also, if you find that women are more disciplined than the men on the street. So we have taken the initiative of employing women. Now I can say proudly that more than 50 or 60% we have workforce women in our companies. So I would really encourage and urge all the companies to give them more opportunities so that equality in the society gets raised, not only in the employment but in the society as well. Because if you empower women, you are empowering the society. You are reforming the society. You are not only reforming the industry, but you are reforming the society. In fact, you are changing the socio-economic condition of the country. These women, when they come to workforce, see, the literacy is something different. But really, somebody raised the, earlier speaker also spoke on this, that education and literacy is different thing. When women come to workplace, they get exposed to the society and their education level is raised. They are more free to take decisions while they go to the polling booth. They are the workforce who change the government in the country. And the right decision by the voters to change the government and empower the administration and the government, which will in turn make the good policies for the country and reform the countries. So indirectly, you are not only changing the women, but you are trying to change the socio-economic condition, the conditions of the country, in fact, in the large. So I would really urge to everybody, all the industry, to encourage your workforce as a woman.
Thank you, Sanjeev ji, for your thoughts. Thank you so much. And I think we have next Puneet Pandey from IPE Global who would want to speak. So Puneet ji, over to you.
Thank you, Madhulika ji. At the onset, thank you for the opportunity for a very pertinent issue and a discussion. I work as an advisor in social consulting space with IPE Global. We primarily work with governments and corporates in terms of development sector projects. Just to relate it to the context in Rajasthan, we are currently implementing a project in 6 districts of Rajasthan, which are Jaipur, Tonk, Ajmer, Bhilwara, Udaipur, and even the tribal belt of Dungarpur. Rajasthan has a typical problem of early girl marriage and dropout of girls from schools. Now, if we do not have empowerment of girls for completing their education and a connect to entry-level skills for livelihood, we will not be able to build the base and the funnel for women to become a part of labor force. We have a project in these 6 districts where we are working with the government to bring out this change. So we have district-wise, village-wise, a team of community motivators who are working with the village ecosystem, with the village sarpanch, with the school principal, with the community, to encourage girls to complete their schooling at least till 12th. And we do a tracking of these girls who are enrolled into this project Manzil, as we call it. The next step that I'm looking at, and where I would like this panel to respond, is I'm looking at connecting these girls after 12th to livelihood opportunities with private sector, and connecting them to some entry level skills is something which is an agenda that I put it open to the corporates, because we are willing to participate. I'm reaching out to corporates so that these girls who have a threshold of schooling till 12th can get employable skills and start with small steps of journey towards building a career. So thank you for providing this opportunity. And I would like to thank Bhai Sahab Nandkishore Chaudhary ji for responding. I think my first outreach to Jaipur Rugs, which is an inclusive organization, I would say, to welcome this initiative and giving the guidelines as to how to develop a model for employing these young rural and tribal girls as a entry-level workforce for an organization like Jaipur Rugs. I'm already working under his guidance for this model, and would encourage most of the corporates here to reach out to us in case they want to participate with us in terms of developing such models for their organizations. This would be a great step towards bringing a societal change and providing some opportunities to these young, energetic girls who want to move away from the traditional aspect of early marriage, early childbirth, and do something productive on their own. They want to stand on their feet. Believe you me, we have a database of more than 10,000 girls who are in school and dropped out of schools across these 6 districts. And I'm now looking at possible opportunities, how to skill them and engage them with corporates. So this is my offering to the panel in terms of any discussions which can come, and this can be a proof of concept for Rajasthan. This is a unique project that IP Global has taken only in Rajasthan, which can become a benchmark not only in Rajasthan but across the nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Puneet ji, for sharing your thoughts. Even I would agree. Like I said, there is a very big gap between women who have completed education and actual economic opportunities. So education translating into job. So we need to have more agencies, organizations, companies who would want us to bridge that gap, because there is a definite demand. But what we now need is a supply. I mean, there is a definite supply. Like, we have a lot of girls who are willing to work, who have the requisite skills, who with a little upskilling and skilling would be fit for the job. But now we need the supply side, as in companies who are willing to hire women, who are willing to give women a chance. So that is something actually we are also looking forward under the SCE program. So thank you so much for your thoughts on that, जी. And आपने जो चौधरी जी जयपुर रग्स के बारे में बोला, वो तो खैर मतलब चौधरी जी and Jaipur Rugs are one of the pioneers in the field as to how we can employ more and more women, and especially women who are most marginalized. When we talk about tribal girls and women from SC, ST categories, minorities, they are the most marginalized women. So how do we include them? So thank you so much for your thoughts on that. चौधरी जी, आप अभी तक आपसे नहीं
आपकी आवाज नहीं आई।
आप कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे सर? अभी तक we haven't heard from you.
नहीं, बिल्कुल काफी अच्छा चल रहा है
जी।
और राजस्थान में ये वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट के लिए एजुकेट करना, एम्प्लॉयमेंट देना, ये बड़ी सख्त जरूरत है राजस्थान में। तो आपने बड़ी इनिशिएटिव बहुत अच्छी शुरू की है, इसको सहयोग करेंगे पूरा और आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
थैंक यू सर। would मतलब कोई और बोलना चाहेगा?
Let's hear from Sudarshana ji. She's such a senior leader. Sudarshana ji would like to share your thoughts, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for making me part of this group, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the discussion because I'm very passionate about this subject. And I have 25 years of work experience in the industry continuously, after my post-graduation in engineering. Of late, certain questions are coming to my mind because I have seen things happening in corporate very closely at middle management level and also at senior leadership level. I have tried, at certain times in certain roles to include women. So somewhere I got very good results, somewhere I did not get such good results. And I would not completely hold the management responsible or the corporate responsibility both ways, So coming to the point of skilling, I was studying the model of Singapore. And I have seen, government has taken such good initiative in sector-wise identifying the required skills, finding out the right agencies or helping small organizations or institutes to develop the skills program and take people through the right certification. Recently, one of my colleagues has migrated to Australia. So she was telling there, it is really very stringently defined skills training program. So here, there is a big gap there. So I find that, a lot of good things are happening. Many people are taking initiatives. Some corporates are taking initiatives. Some corporates are not. In some corporates who are not taking responsibilities, there are some passionate individuals who are, trying to push the agenda. There are people like you who are really wanting to give a direction to the whole country. But finally, and it will increase more after COVID, organizations are running after profitability, and it is becoming so difficult. It's becoming really, really difficult, and achieving short-term goal has become more important for the leaders. So people might, I'm not, discounting any of the efforts, but I'm just saying people might sign. But where the heart is, where the mind is, where the focus is. So if we want quick results, it is very important that we make these women so skilled that, they become not comparable to others. Or, they have to go to certification where from the funnel, only certain people are emerging. So corporates have no option but to hire these people for their employability or for the skills. So therefore, I think if we want things to happen fast, I don't know whether I could make myself clear or express clearly. All said and done, the major, time of the leaders are going after how to now keep the business together after COVID situation, how to keep the targets, achieve the financial targets. Particularly in the sectors where I worked in completely male-dominated sectors. So therefore, if we really want to bring a change there, and it was a big struggle for me to bring that 5% women 5% to 8%. Once I brought it up to 14%, it again slipped back to 8% due to various reasons, biases at middle management level, glass ceiling, many things. But I have now come to a realization, if there is undeniable skill possessed by those women, only then, we can expect it. And therefore, some major change is required with CII or FICCI. I do not know. I'm not in that segment who is the right agency. But if we can come up with a good model, like countries like Singapore or Australia, where the certification is followed and good quality skill is imparted to people irrespective of their gender, and definitely we will try to attract women. Like you said, I know those are very pertinent issues, like in villages, even Rajasthan or West Bengal, early marriage of women, early dropout. But you know, if we can break 1 or 2 cases, they will be the role models in their villages. So many people will follow them. Like I come from a very a middle class joint conservative family in Bengal. So it was a big struggle for me to come out of West Bengal and make my career. So many people actually demotivated my father. He was really scared to leave me. But now, after me, now so many cousins of mine, one has gone to US, one has gone to Australia. So now people followed suit. So therefore, things will be easier. But all I'm saying is right and good quality skills. We cannot only depend on the corporates to give, because they will take the low hanging fruits because their focus is something else. So countrywide, we have to bring about a change. And I'm sorry I took up a lot of time, but I strongly feel about it, and that's why I felt I should express it.
No, we completely agree with you, Sudarshana ji. And I mean, we do realize that there is a need, there is a felt need to identify models, good models that has worked in different countries, especially countries on the same socio as India, and then try to replicate them, because so far we don't have a set model to make it work. We all are doing individual works in silos, but there is no like a set pattern to make all that work count, or to make the needle move considerably when we talk about female labor force participation. So we completely agree on that, and we are with you on that, and we hope that even after this consultation, we will interact with each other to see how we can probe into these areas. Yeah. So going next, I think once that we have talked about these, the initiatives that different companies have taken, different organizations that over here are taken. We were just thinking, I mean, yesterday Chaudhary ji, Dhananjay ji and I got together, and we were thinking that it would also be very good to hear about failure stories. Like there are a lot of organizations who have tried to make it work, but they couldn't make it work because of the various challenges that we face. Because let's agree to the fact that the whole ecosystem, when one part of the ecosystem tries to bring around the change, and the ecosystem, when the larger ecosystem is not conducive, it's bound to be a failure. तो अगर हम लोग कुछ चैलेंजेस के बारे में भी बात कर लें कि मतलब आप जैसे अगर महिलाओं को ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्व करना चाहते हैं, या फिर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर वगैरह में जहाँ पे ट्रेडिशनली महिलाएं उतना नहीं प्रेजेंट होती हैं, तो अगर इफ़ यू वांट टू हैव मोर वुमेन इन दिस सेक्टर, या आपने कभी कोशिश की हो और इट वाज नॉट सक्सेसफुल, तो किस तरह के चैलेंजेस हम फेस करते हैं? तो अगर मतलब कोई भी अपना थॉट्स शेयर करना चाहेगा, इट वुड बी हमारे लिए भी काफ़ी अच्छी लर्निंग होगी वो, क्योंकि आप लोग ग्राउंड पे वी स्पीक अबाउट इट, एंड आप लोग ग्राउंड पे काम कर रहे हो, तो आप लोगों को ज़्यादा अंदाज होता है. So can I take the liberty of calling upon Naresh ji? नरेश जी मंजरी फाउंडेशन में हमारे साथ काम कर रहे हैं राजस्थान में, और वो थोड़ा सा हमें कंटेक्स्ट दे पाएंगे कि हम किस तरह के चैलेंजेस फेस कर रहे हैं राजस्थान में, स्पेशली व्हेन इट कम्स टू एम्प्लॉइंग, गेटिंग वुमेन एम्प्लॉयड. सो नरेश जी, आप हैं क्या?
Yes.
हाँ, ओवर टू यू.
I'm here. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Madhulika ji, और सभी को नमस्कार. Myself Naresh, and I am working with the Manjari Foundation, or helping team in to implement Second Chance Education program as well. Or Second Chance Education program in Chittorgarh, Bara and Jaisalmer, we are trying to work.
खत्म हो जाएगी 15 मिनट में, तो बहुत लेट हूँ.
As Kanta ji and Madhulika shared detail about the program.
मारूंगा भी, मेरे गाल पे करनी है, गाल पे कर रहा हूँ तो यूं जाए जा रही है.
Okay. So Madhulika ji, as you shared some of the challenges kind of thing, we have also faced 2-3 pertinent challenges, especially in the when we have placed a few of the girls in Bhilwara spinning mills or धागा मिल अपन बोल सकते हैं उसको, RSWM में. So there was one of the challenges were the working hours. Still in most of the company who are running this business, working hours is one of the big challenge we have found. They are asking for the 12 hours job, which is not possible. Most of the women who are working at the household level finish their early work and then coming back at the home to do such kind of work. And second was the opportunities. At the same time, we are talking about this Kantaji shared rate of the जो काम के बदले वेतन मिलना चाहिए, that kind of thing. But in most of the places, in initial phase, that was around 6,000, 5,000, 7,000. In many of the cases, women are not so much encouraged to get this kind of work because they are getting this kind of work in their rural areas in MC Narega kind of things as well. But at the same time, family do not found much economic benefit in that. Second was that. And third was which was earlier Suhaila rightly put the socio-economic context of the country, and in especially villages. This safety is one of the areas where family are not able to compromise. I'll say that in most of the cases, most of the families are so much protective, and it's a big hindering factor for us many times to give them some kind of new generation employment. And in last, यदि हम simply वर्ड में बोलेंगे तो घूम घाम के हम लोग सिलाई पे पहुंच जाते हैं या ब्यूटिशियन पे पहुंच जाते हैं. That is truth in most of the cases. I think these are the few areas where we need to look upon. And last point which Madam was shared about this particular skilling kind of things. And in most of the skill institute where we have experienced that the skill which we aspire to complete, like in stitching, they are the 1 month courses, 2 month courses, and we found that they are not much helping. They require long-term courses where they can 1 year, 2 years courses where the girls and women can get good skills so that they can find good jobs. In skilling sector in India as well, there are most of the short-term courses where I will use the Khanapurti word for the name of the skill. That's a limited experience we have in Chittorgarh and in other places as well, where we are working in 8 districts of the Rajasthan. But we are facing this pertinent challenge.
Thank
you, Madhulika ji.
Thank you, Naresh ji. So, in Naresh ji ने एक बहुत important point बोला, मतलब we are often, when we work with private sector spaces, we are often asked that, but job opportunities जो private sector companies advertise करती हैं, even at the entry level, it's open for both men and women to apply. So if you have the right skills, I mean, what's stopping a woman to apply? But then, like I said, we need to understand the ground realities. जो ecosystem जो हमारा है, जिसके अंदर एक महिला मतलब काम करती है, जो stereotypes face करते हैं, जिसे हम आज भी ग्राउंड पे, जैसे नरेश जी ने कहा, हम आज भी जब ग्राउंड पे काम कर रहे हैं तो हमें वो बेसिक चैलेंजेस आज भी फेस करने पड़ रहे हैं. इतने साल बाद भी महिला घर से बाहर नहीं जाना चाहती है काम करने, नहीं जाना चाहती है काम करने के लिए. सेफ्टी इश्यूज महिलाओं के बहुत बड़े कंसर्न्स होते हैं परिवार वालों के लिए. तो उनको ये कन्विंस कर पाना कि आपकी बेटी या आपकी बहन या जो भी महिला आपके घर में है, वो जब बाहर काम करने के लिए जाएगी तो वो किसी भी प्रकार के हिंसा का, आई एम सॉरी फॉर दैट बैकग्राउंड नॉइज, या सो वो किसी भी प्रकार के हिंसा का शिकार नहीं होगी. वो आज भी हमारे लिए ऑन ग्राउंड उतना ही चैलेंजिंग है. सो ये जो so वहाँ पे, that is where we need to take that extra step to ensure that women come out of their household and work. सो वो अभी भी उस पे काफी काम होना बाकी है, स्पेशली जब हम जब हम अर्बन नहीं रूरल एरियाज की बात करें। वैसे ये कहने की बात है, ये चैलेंजेस अर्बन एरियाज में भी अभी भी काफी हैं, बट हाँ रूरल एरियाज में ये और प्रोनाउंस्ड हो जाते हैं। तो आज भी अगर आप देखिएगा तो महिलाएं घर बैठ के काम करना ज्यादा प्रेफर करती हैं, जो उनको, जैसा सुहेला ने कहा, जो उनको ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दे सके कि हम काम और मतलब इकोनॉमिक जो भी काम है, प्रोडक्टिव काम है, और घर का काम मैनेज करने का जो ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी दे सके, वो आज भी वही प्रेफर करती हैं। तो उस साइलो को हम कैसे ब्रेक करें, या फिर हम कैसे और जॉब्स जनरेट करें जो rather than asking a woman to come to a workplace, work goes to a woman. I mean, increasingly we are moving towards that phase. I mean, आजकल सब घर से ही काम कर रहे हैं. We are moving towards what we call a gig economy, जहाँ ज्यादा contractual jobs हो रहे हैं. अब लोग घर पे बैठ के काम कर रहे हैं, हालांकि उसके अपने challenges हैं, but nevertheless. So yeah. On that note, I would request अगर कोई और भी अपना experience share करना चाहेगा तो please.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
जी संजीव जी, we can hear you.
जी मैम, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात कही आपने. एक्चुअली दो इश्यूज हैं महिलाओं के साथ पार्टिसिपेट मतलब इंडस्ट्री में लाने में. हेलो
संजीव जी, आवाज आ रही है?
आवाज आ रही है?
बिल्कुल आ रही संजीव जी. जी
थैंक यू सर. राजस्थान की बात तो मैं नहीं कर सकता, मैं राजस्थान में ऑपरेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ. हमारी कंपनी ऑपरेट कर रही है मध्य प्रदेश में, बहादुरगढ़ में, गुजरात में और उत्तराखंड में. तो दो इश्यूज हैं उसमें. एक तो आपने सही कहा कि अर्बन एरिया में कम दिक्कतें हैं, रूरल एरिया में ज्यादा दिक्कत है. महिलाओं के साथ एक सुरक्षा की समस्या है, दूसरा उनकी ट्रैवलिंग और कन्वेंस की समस्या है. मतलब छोटे स्केल पर यदि आप एम्प्लॉयमेंट करते हैं तो और ज्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है, क्योंकि आपको उनको घर से लाना, घर तक पहुंचाना, वो एम्प्लॉयर की जिम्मेदारी हो जाती है. और उसमें कोई समस्या आए तो फिर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव समस्याएं खड़ी होती है, पुलिस और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन भी उसमें फिर हस्तक्षेप करते हैं. तो वो एम्प्लॉयर के लिए थोड़ा सा ज्यादा मुश्किल होता है, कॉस्टली होता है, जिस वजह से लार्जर स्केल पर एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं दे पाते हैं एम्प्लॉयर, है ना. और हम लोग तो ये कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हमारे लिए तो बहुत इनकरेजिंग रहा है वुमेन्स को एम्प्लॉय करना, और हम लोग तो ये प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि ये संख्या 80% तक जाए. we would love to raise it to 80%, 80-20 रेशियो. अभी हम लोग 60% के आसपास हैं, और हमारे लिए बहुत इनकरेजिंग है. थोड़ा सा कॉस्टली जरूर पड़ता है ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के लिए, क्योंकि उनको एक्स्ट्रा फिर ट्रैवलिंग कॉस्ट बढ़ जाती है उसमें, है ना. तो लेकिन बाकी और समस्याओं से निजात है. IR इश्यूज बिल्कुल नहीं होते वुमेन्स के साथ. उनकी वर्किंग आवर्स बहुत अच्छे हैं. यदि आप ऑन एन एवरेज 8 घंटे में मेंस इफ दे आर वर्किंग फॉर 6 आवर्स, तो वुमेन्स विल वर्क फॉर 7 आवर्स, 6.5 आवर्स. तो वो प्रोडक्टिविटी एम्प्लॉइंग आवर्स ज्यादा है. तो मैं तो सभी इंडस्ट्री को ये न सिर्फ इसके लिए इनकरेज करूंगा और रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वुमेन एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ाएं, क्योंकि प्रोडक्टिविटी भी बढ़ती है और समाज में सामाजिक समस्याएं कम होती है इससे. तो ये मेरा व्यक्तिगत अनुभव रहा है 30 साल में इंडस्ट्री में कि वुमेन एम्प्लॉयमेंट पिछले 10 साल में काफी, 5 साल 7 साल में काफी अच्छा, काफी चेंज हुआ है. हमारे पास में इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया है सिडकुल, रुद्रपुर. वहां पर ऑन एन एवरेज कम से कम 250 इंडस्ट्री है, और मुझे लगता है कि अभी सभी इंडस्ट्री में वुमेन एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ने लगे हैं और पार्टिसिपेशन काफी अच्छा हो रहा है. तो चीजें बदल रही है ग्राउंड लेवल पर.
Thank you, संजीव जी, for that input. बिल्कुल चीजें बदल रही हैं. We just hope कि थोड़ा और तेजी से बदले, थोड़ा कम समय लेके बदले, but हाँ. So on that note, can I request anyone else? Do we have time to call upon one more person.
Manishi can share. I can see Manishi is there.
I'm also interested to share some.
मधुलिका, राकेश जी बात करना चाह रहे हैं.
राकेश जी, आप कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे?
जी जी, मैं सिर्फ इतना ही ऐड करना चाहूंगा कि अभी कोरोना पीरियड के दौरान हमारा एक अनुभव रहा है कि
आवाज थोड़ी सी कम आ रही है.
मैं सिर्फ ये ऐड करना चाहूंगा
जी
कि तकनीक तक महिलाओं की पहुंच हमें बढ़ानी पड़ेगी, खासकर जो हम हमारी तरह की जो एनजीओ जो तमाम तरह के संगठन काम कर रहे हैं उन्हें, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि ये बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत है. जैसे सेकंड क्लास एजुकेशन में ही हमने जो एक छोटा सा सर्वे किया था, उस सर्वे में हमने पाया कि एंड्रॉइड फोन तक उनकी पहुंच नहीं है. तो मुझे लगता है कि छोटी छोटी चीजें जैसे छोटी टैबलेट यूज करना, तो मंजरी ने एक कार्यक्रम में अभी काफी महिलाओं को टैबलेट यूज करना सिखाया. तो मुझे लगता है कि उससे उनके अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा. और क्योंकि एम्प्लॉयर को भी आज के समय में बहुत बड़ी जरूरत है कि ऐसे महिलाएं जो भी उनके वर्कर है वो इस तरह की तकनीक का प्रयोग करना सीखें. तो मुझे लगता है ये छोटे छोटे प्रयोग है जो हमें करने चाहिए फील्ड में, कि महिलाओं को इस तरह के छोटे छोटे इंस्ट्रूमेंट प्रयोग करना हमें सिखाना चाहिए. इंटरनेट तक ही एक बार बहुत प्रसिद्ध प्रोग्राम भी चला था और अभी भी हमारा चल रहा है. तो इसी तरह के मुझे लगता है कि हम इनिशिएटिव लेंगे तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट में उनका फायदा होगा. और ये मैं कहना चाहता हूँ.
जी, थैंक यू राकेश जी. कोई और ऐड करना चाहेगा?
पल्लवी बात करना.
हाँ, पल्लवी जी ने कहा है. पल्लवी जी और मनीष जी का था.
ठीक है, तो फिर हम पल्लवी जी और मनीष जी का सुन के फिर क्लोज करेंगे सेशन. जी.
Thank you so much, Madhulika, and thank you everyone for sharing their views. Really enriching. Just sharing a bit on entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship, and that's where we work. अभी हम लोग employer और employee के relationship की बात कर रहे हैं. Here, women entrepreneurs are themselves employers and also the flag bearers for their own businesses. And especially coming to the challenges, because I think success stories we've seen a lot. Let us also understand key internal challenges kya hai. And for the last 3-4 years, we've been working very closely with these social entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs. So, especially there are some external factors where we have felt that, you know, things have not really worked much in favor of these entrepreneurs. Leaving aside all the success stories, they have been doing immensely well. चाहे वो empathy की बात हो, चाहे वो pivot की बात हो, चाहे flexibility की बात हो, चाहे coachability की बात हो, चाहे growing in business की बात हो, everything they have been doing immensely great. Good thing is that they don't come with baggage, you know. So it's very easy for us to help them understand what it is all about. The skill sets that we offer them is entrepreneurial skill sets. And इससे पहले जब हम सिर्फ entrepreneurship की बात करते थे तो हमें लगता था ये women entrepreneurship और entrepreneurship अलग क्यों है? You know, why are we even putting women in front of entrepreneurship? What difference does it make? But then with time, I think we realized when we started off with this program, this question came back. Again and again. It was so difficult to pronounce. It's so difficult to say men entrepreneurship. You would never use that, you know. And women entrepreneurship, of course, अब बहुत easily आता है, but पहले बहुत सवाल आता था कि ये women entrepreneurship क्या है? इसको अलग से क्यों डाल दिया है? You know, why is it a category? But then I think this was an understanding that was built over a period of time. There are two kinds of trainings that we require here. One is entrepreneurial, and the other is enterprise related. इससे पहले हम entrepreneurial training पे इतना focus नहीं देते थे for certain reasons, because probably the counterparts, that is men entrepreneurs, do not really require that much. But for women, for the conditioning that has happened for all these years and centuries now, you know, conditioning से मेरा मतलब है, there was this lady in the launch program, she asked, जब मैं अपने बिजनेस पे ज्यादा ध्यान देती हूँ तो मुझे गिल्ट होती है क्योंकि मैं अपने बच्चे पे ध्यान नहीं दे अभी वो कंडीशनिंग है, मैं परिवार में और सोशल रिक्वायरमेंट्स में सबसे नीचे आती हूँ, अब मैं अपने आप को ऊपर कैसे लाऊं? And that also reflected to some extent in the dropouts, because वो जो हम लोग कहते हैं कि multitasking है, it's you know it's only women's job to multitask, only they can multitask. You know, that puts so much of pressure on them that they want to be perfect on all the sides. I want to be great as an entrepreneur, great as a mother, great as a daughter-in-law, as a wife, as this, as that. And that pressure also sometimes starts speaking not really very much in favor. They get into that pressure. So there are certain factors which are external, where we can't really work in a very short span of time, which are external in the sense कि socio-economic fabric में ही है हमारे expectations from a woman, be it a bahu, be it a beti. Then external factors like entitlements. When a woman would go to take a loan, she will also not be heard. As somebody mentioned, she would not be heard, and that's a reality that has happened with so many entrepreneurs. But also she doesn't have a collateral to offer. She doesn't have wealth in her name. Interestingly, she will have loans in her name, but she will not have wealth in her name. Collaterals nahi hai. So only thing that she has to actually present is her success story, which is very well reflected in her accounts. And that has been a case where without collaterals, thanks to some of the government policies which are working on the ground, that she's been able to take loan on the ground of the work that she has done for all these years. And her accounts speak for that. So I think the challenges, some of the challenges where we have not really been able to work too well, and I think it will take time for all of us to sort of make way and navigate those challenges, is the ones that are coming from the outside, the fabric, and also the intrinsic, inside the heart and mind of a woman, because उसे लगता है कि मेरा तो role ये defined है, and I'm going very different from that, So I think those also reflect in the decisions that they take, the hesitations that they have to talk, So when we come with all these women entrepreneurs sitting together, they're very comfortable talking about their challenges, about their weaknesses, कि मुझे अंग्रेजी नहीं आती है. Fair enough. Talk in Hindi, no worries. क्या हुआ अगर मैं fail हो गई? It's okay. It's all a matter of no pandit will tell you कि आप, he cannot predict कि आप successful होंगे या नहीं होंगे. So it's fine. Things like that. So internally also and externally also, for example, technology. Some of these women also have hesitation in picking up technology, not because they can't do it, because they've only seen their brothers playing with, such toys, गाड़ी से खेलना है या computer पे काम करना है. So I think, and this has nothing to do with people or women coming from rural background or tier 2, tier 3 cities. I think situation may be a little different or pronounced differently, but they all have their challenges. In fact, sometimes urban people face more challenges because जो biases हैं, वो subconscious biases हैं, जिन्हें ना आप pinpoint कर सकते हैं, तो आप उन्हें, how would you work on that, So I think these are some of the challenging areas that, besides the success stories, which we all understand, we know, and we're very happy about that, extremely happy about that we have inched from 0 to 1. But I think these challenges will prevail, and we all may have to work together for that. Thank you so much.
Pallavi, which organization are you working with?
I come from CII Co, and we are based out of Rajasthan. Here the organization, the parent organization CII Co, here we are called Startup Oasis. We're also running a program with GIZ on women entrepreneurs, where we are mandated to,
Couldn't hear you. Your voice is breaking, but you're absolutely right. I just wanted to.
I can type that. I think that should help.
Yeah, it's just perfect. In fact, I wanted to say all those things that you just mentioned. And मैंने देखा हुआ है, even when, as Sanjeev ji was talking about how women make a more disciplined workforce. ऐसा नहीं, this is learned behavior. Even men can be as disciplined, and women can be as careless as they want. But we have been trained to behave in a certain manner. Also, people generally क्या होता है, multitasking और multi-skilling में बहुत confused हुए रहते हैं. and उसकी वजह से भी महिलाओं के ऊपर एडिशनल प्रेशर रहता है. Women can multitask, doesn't mean men cannot. So मल्टी स्किल होने की बात हम यहाँ कर रहे हैं कि महिलाओं को भी मल्टी स्किल्स सिखाई जानी चाहिए. कुछ जो है उसमें एम्प्लॉयर को जिम्मेदारी लेनी पड़ेगी कि वो उसमें ये कहें कि हम जिम्मेदारी लेते हैं इनको ट्रेन करने की जैसी हमें जरूरत है. हम बाहर से जितना भी सिखा के भेज दें, हर एक एम्प्लॉयर की अलग आवश्यकता है. They need different kinds of skill sets, and that's what we need to, and that's why the discussion is with private sector. We want to understand what kind of skills do you need, but would you be willing to invest something in that? Would you be keen to give more space to women where they can prove themselves? Like you give space to men, not everybody come there as trained human resource. They also get trained on the job. So here we are asking, can you make space for women? And that is the dialogue all about. Thank you, Pallavi. I echo your sentiments, exactly how I feel.
I think we had one more Manish Shithe who would want to.
Yes, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, Manish.
Okay, wonderful listening to you all. And I represented Telco Vodafone Idea. Now, and we've been working on this aspect for quite a while. And it is a typically a industry which runs on an FMCG model. When I say FMCG means, it is, an employee supposed to go out to the, and we always had people who believed that this is not the kind of a job which a woman could do. And we've been constantly talking about it as HR in terms of how we can enhance this percentage, can have more, because that is given that if as earlier on it was quoted in as part of one McKinsey report that organizations which are much more, so we knew somewhere and we knew that we have to do it, but we were unable to do it. And we realized there were a lot of unconscious biases, as somebody mentioned, Pallavi, I guess, subconscious biases somewhere deep inside. So it took us a while. It has been a 4, 5, 6 years we've been on that track. So I remember when we kept on, struggling, how do we increase the workforce? So there was one time we took a decision that we will only, we will mask the CVs in terms of the name and just give the profiles and give it to stakeholders. We realized that the CVs which got selected were far more in favor of women. And when we opened this fact up, they still had a lot of resistance. So I went to a MBA college. I got some students ready. I said, let's, and I visualized how it can be broken. So we did a theatrical play right in front of those stakeholders, which at all senior levels, VPs and above, where it was shown that just sales, marketing were just not willing to take women up, and it despite the fact that we gave them cases that they were doing extremely well, right? And they, the biases were, you can't handle tough things. Sales is to start crying, then it is difficult to handle, and all those things came out. Favorable policies we work towards, favorable infrastructure creating we work towards over the period of years. So we are constantly having POSH sessions. We are very, very strict and firm with zero tolerance. So we are having a lot of unconscious bias sessions now across to make everyone understand that how it all seeps in. So in terms of creating and building culture, which is much more friendly. And now we are started seeing the fruits of it. So amongst the three major telcos, I think we have the highest gender diversity ratio, though it's still a long way to go, as it was said. We constantly work on. We have. I'm very, very glad to say that. So as chief operating officers, right? So still, I would say green shoots. It's a long way to go, and we are committed to hire more women from all the institutes, colleges, and scaling them. So we really want to tie up with NHRDN, and we would love to work together in this field. We look forward to your support in helping us build this in much better way. But somewhere I also believe that as it has been said that I would say that organizations are nothing but a representation of the society. So in terms of as society, we also have to change at that level. I knew a friend of mine who was fairly well qualified, earning a very good salary, would drive a Fortuner, had a Harley Davidson, would have a 10 lakh rupees cameras and all that. And it is just a couple of years back.
Manishji, if you can, your voice is dropping. So if you can stop your video, so maybe on audio mode, you will be more clearer, sir.
And he says, listen, I don't have 10 lakh rupees an annum to pay for your fees. It's better able now.
अगर आप अपना वीडियो बंद कर देंगे तो शायद ऑडियो क्लियर हो जाएगी. Just a request, Manish ji.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got logged out. Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. So
it's better now, sir. It's better now. Ji.
Is it better? Right.
Ji.
So I was saying it all starts at home, and I was giving an example of a acquaintance who's at a good salary, drives a Fortuner, keeps a Harley Davidson, and has a 10 lakh rupees camera. But when his daughter got into a medical, he said, listen, I can't afford 10 lakh rupees an annum. So then I asked him, what are you going to do? And he says, I would convince her to, join a dental course that is much cheaper. So, and it is going to cost me 3 lakhs. So I think that has to change. Somewhere it has to start from home. And then, as I said, organizations are doing their bit, and they completely agree on that aspect that, yes, we got to have women, much more women at leadership positions, and we have to create infrastructure, policies, everything which are more conducive, and we are committed to attracting and retaining them, right, for which we would definitely be partnering with NHRDN and taking things forward from here. So that's largely what I think I would say here and step here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Over to Madhulika ji, please.
Yeah, no, we hear you, Manish ji, when you say, changing what we are actually talking about, what we call it in our workspaces is changing mindsets, changing behaviors. So these are going to take a lot of time, like Pallavi said. And, crisis like the one we are undergoing, this corona pandemic, and the ones we have undergone in past, and there will be more in future, only set us back few years in the progress that we make. So we definitely agree with you on that point, and we would be happy to hear more from you one-on-one on your experiences, because I believe you have some practical experiences of trying to break some of those stereotypes, especially in mindsets of people who are in the hiring positions, who take these decisions. So yeah, thank you so much for that.
Most welcome. This is one of my favorite topics. Yes, I would love to keep working on it, and would certainly get in touch with you people later on that how we can take it forward. Thank
Yeah,
you
so
so much.
we will love to pick your brains on that. Yeah. So now, I mean, looking at the time, Dhananjay ji, can we, if Dhananjay ji and Chaudhary ji permit, can we call upon Ishita for the closing remarks?
जी
जी, सिर्फ एक ही गुजारिश है कि कई लोगों की बात हम लोग नहीं सुन पाए समय के अभाव में, और हम लोगों ने इसका व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप भी क्रिएट कर लिया है, क्योंकि हम लोग इस कार्यक्रम को यहाँ समाप्ति नहीं मान रहे बल्कि शुरुआत मान रहे हैं। तो एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप भी क्रिएट कर दिया गया, ताकि जो भी हम लोग ऐसे आगे कंसल्टेशंस करेंगे, आप सबके पास ऐसे आइडियाज हैं, सलाह हैं, समस्याएं हैं, समाधान हैं, जिससे कि हम लोग जो करना चाहते हैं उसको अकेले नहीं कर पाएंगे, लेकिन मिल के हम लोग जरूर कुछ ना कुछ कर सकते हैं। तो सिर्फ इतनी गुजारिश थी कि बिना आप लोगों की आवाज के हम लोग की आवाज अधूरी है, तो अपनी आवाज जरूर आप उसमें सम्मिलित करें। अगर इस समय नहीं संभव है तो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे, ईमेल के जरिए, क्योंकि इसको हम लोग एक कार्यक्रम शुरू करके छोड़ना नहीं चाहते हैं। इसको हम लोग एक ऐसी मुहिम बनाना चाहते हैं जिसको एक एक कदम से हम सब मिल करके चलेंगे तो हम लोग 20-25 कदम चल पाएंगे। और वो शायद अगर एक व्यक्ति अकेले चलना चाहेगा तो 20-25 कदम बहुत होते हैं चलने के लिए, और कहीं ना कहीं हम एक दूसरे को मदद कर सकते हैं। तो सिर्फ यही गुजारिश थी। आई वुड हैव बीन very happy to listen to each one of you, please, but knowing the time constraint, let's look forward to Ishita ji for her vote of thanks. And before that, Bhai Sahab, if you have any guidance, you have heard these views in last about 100 minutes plus. So before we request Ishita ji, maybe if you like to share your words of wisdom, and Kanta ji, before we proceed there, over to both of you, please.
नहीं, धनंजय जी, काफी मेरे हिसाब से काफी अच्छी डिस्कशन हो गई है, और अब इनिशिएटिव को बस राजस्थान में आगे लेके जाएंगे।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद भाई साहब, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कांता जी, एनीथिंग बिफोर वी मूव टू इशिता जी फॉर फॉर्मल वोट ऑफ थैंक्स?
Thank you, Dhananjay ji. I think it was a good discussion, and I agree with you that we should have planned a little more time so that we could listen to everyone. We need more people like Sanjeev ji and the last speaker, I'm forgetting his name, from Vodafone, Manish ji. Manish ji, who can share the good examples from their own companies. It will help us to make business case actually. And
मैं एक business case देना चाहता हूँ, है ना? Thank you. मेरा एक गुजारिश है लोगों से कि सभी इंडस्ट्री से कि वुमेन को आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेट कराएं अपनी इंडस्ट्री में। उसका एक बहुत बड़ा एग्जांपल है कि वुमेन IR इश्यूज क्रिएट नहीं करती, कोई यूनियन नहीं बनाती। हमने इसको लाइव फेस किया है। हमारी कंपनी 2011 में यूनियन के प्रॉब्लम की वजह से बंद हो गई थी। वी हैड टू क्लोज डाउन, वी वर फोर्स्ड टू शट डाउन द यूनिट। इट वाज शट डाउन फॉर 6 months, और हमें पूरी रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग करनी पड़ी। पूरा VRS स्कीम निकाल के हमने सारी प्रॉब्लम्स को खत्म किया, एंड ऑलमोस्ट द कंपनी वाज ऑलमोस्ट ऑन द स्केल ऑफ बीइंग क्लोज्ड। बट दोबारा हमने बहुत मेहनत से दोबारा खड़ा किया, दोबारा शुरू किया। तो ये मैं यही अर्ज करूंगा सभी इंडस्ट्री को कि वुमेन्स को एम्प्लॉय करना उनके फायदे में जितना है उससे ज्यादा हमारे फायदे में है।
जी, थैंक यू संजीव जी। मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ा सा भी हमें समय का ध्यान रखते हुए आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा। बट आई रियली अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट यू आर सेइंग कि ये बिजनेस केस है टू एम्प्लॉय मोर वुमेन। इट इज गुड फॉर द कंपनी, इट इज गुड फॉर द बॉसेस, इट इज गुड फॉर वुमेन, इट इज गुड फॉर द सोसाइटी। आई कंप्लीटली एग्री विद यू। ओनली कंसर्न, एंड अगेन आई वांट टू रेज इज दैट इवन आप यूनियन बनाना भी उनके डेमोक्रेटिक राइट्स में आता है।
बट इवन वुमेन यूनियन होने से उनकी प्रॉब्लम्स कम होती है।
प्रॉब्लम भी होती है शायद, वो उस तरह से असर्ट नहीं करती हैं। मुझे लगता है कि विदाउट टेकिंग अवे दैट राइट फ्रॉम वुमेन, दे डेफिनेटली मेक मोर आई वुड से
दे आर मोर सेंसिबल, दैट इज व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड।
अब मैंने देखा है मेरे खुद के अनुभव से कि कंपनियों में प्रॉफिट्स बढ़े हैं, प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ी है, डिसिप्लिन बढ़ा है महिलाओं को एम्प्लॉय। और वैसे भी अगेन गोइंग बैक टू व्हाट सुहेला वाज सेइंग कि ये हमारे हक की भी बात है कि हमें देश के जितने भी संसाधन हैं उनमें हमारा हिस्सा क्यों ना हो।
मैं एक बात कहना चाहता हूँ कि अभी मोदी जी ने भी एक्सेप्ट किया इसको बिहार इलेक्शन के बाद, वुमेन्स आर साइलेंट वोटर्स। हम एक वुमेन को पढ़ा के या उसको एम्पावर करके एक घर को ठीक करते हैं, समाज को ठीक करते हैं।
जी जरूर
जी, थैंक यू संजीव जी, बहुत थैंक यू।
बस धनंजय जी, थैंक यू ऑल वेरी मच। इशिता करेंगे ये तो समय आपको, बट मैं ये चाह रही थी कि अगली बार थोड़ा सा समय और रखेंगे, और एक इंडिविजुअल कंपनीज के साथ भी एंगेजमेंट जरूरी है, केवल वेब्स पे बट जनरली, कि टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ दे आर वर्किंग, व्हाट इज देयर माइंडसेट, हाउ कैन वी सपोर्ट देम, क्योंकि हम यहाँ सिर्फ बातचीत करके नहीं जाना चाहते हैं। आपने कहा शुरुआत है, इसको आगे लेके जाना है। चौधरी साहब का भी वही आशीर्वाद है कि इसको आगे लेके जाएंगे राजस्थान में। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट दिस जर्नी ऑन अ वेरी पॉजिटिव नोट। बट मैं तो अपनी तरफ से और यूएन विमेन की तरफ से धन्यवाद करती हूँ, बट ओवर टू इशिता नाउ। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू
कैप्टन जी।
आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। अगर मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही है तो आप जरूर मेरे को बता दीजिएगा। तो अगर मेरे को कोई वार्न नहीं करेगा तो मैं यही समझूंगी कि मैं ऑडिबल हूँ।
यू आर ऑडिबल मैम।
ओके, थैंक यू धनंजय जी। जैसे आप सभी को पता, अभी समय हमारे पास थोड़ा कम है, तो मैं आप सबका ज्यादा समय नहीं लूंगी। पर मैं सबसे पहले यही कहूंगी कि चौधरी जी का, धनंजय जी का और हमारे सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स का यहाँ आने के लिए आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और हम पूरी यूएन विमेन टीम की तरफ से काफी खुश हैं ये देख के कि हम अपनी सोच में और अपने कार्य में अकेले नहीं हैं, कि हमसे मिलती जुलती सोच के काफी लोग हैं और इसमें ऑलरेडी काम कर रहे हैं। तो जैसे चौधरी जी ने भी कहा और कांता जी ने भी अभी कहा कि ये तो अभी शुरुआत ही है, और आगे मिलके हम लोग काफी काम करेंगे राजस्थान में, और राजस्थान में क्यों नहीं, अपने बाकी क्या कहते हैं स्टेट्स में भी जरूर करेंगे। पूरे देश में ही करेंगे, एक जगह पे क्यों रुके। तो मैं सब तहे दिल से आप सबका धन्यवाद देती हूँ हमारे साथ आज मीटिंग में आने के लिए, अपनी बात रखने के लिए और एक तरीके से हमारे सपोर्ट में आने के लिए। तो आप सभी को मेरा बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और सादर दिल से प्रणाम।
थैंक यू। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू।
धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सबको। थैंक यू।